This is not what the WWE had envisioned. This is not how the WWE wanted to end the year. Dirty Dominic Mysterio injured, the Intercontinental title in limbo, and now the WWE may be forced to crown a new Intercontinental Champion before the 2026 WWE Royal Rumble extravaganza. And if that happens, viewers, if that happens, Raw on Netflix just hit its first major crisis in the new year, but it is still 2025. Hit my music.
Hello, wrestling fans! This is Sean's View Entertainment, the most dedicated and prolific WWE news source on the web. Subscribe now for hourly WWE breaking news, hard-hitting rumors, and more. And don't forget to smash that bell for notifications, comment, and share. Are you a true wrestling fanatic? Become a channel member right now to show your support and send us super thanks in the comment section today.
So now the question stands. The divide is there. There is a roadblock as it concerns Monday Night Raw and the Intercontinental Champion. Who is going to be the new WWE Intercontinental Champion? We're going to get into that, and we're going to cover that right here in this very episode with Dominic Mysterio injured, with him hurt, with him down, with him not being able to defend the IC title. We're going to cover that right here and right now, because if it weren't for you, there would be no show. And remember to hype up the video. It's so important to donate below with a super thanks donation by using your credit card in the comment section of this here very video. Last night on WWE TV, everything changed in a matter of seconds. What was supposed to be another controversial chapter in Dirty Dominic Mysterio's IC title run instead turned into a moment that immediately raised red flags backstage. During the match, Dom goes down, holds his shoulder, the cameras cut away. The Judgment Day is visibly shaken, his group. And suddenly, the conversation shifts from storyline heat to real concern. Now, WWE never likes when injuries interrupt the momentum, especially not at the end of the year, and especially not on the red brand heading into the one-year Netflix era of Raw. Now, why this is actually a bigger problem than it looks. This isn't just about Dominic Mysterio, viewers, fans, and subscribers. No. This is about timing. Raw on Netflix is supposed to feel bigger, cleaner, and more controlled. Instead, WWE is now starting and staring. They are staring directly at a situation where their Intercontinental Champion may not be able to defend. The title could be frozen. That's something we haven't heard in a long time. And creative plans could be completely derailed. Now, this is the last thing that WWE wanted as they head toward 2026. As of now, viewers, let's bring you up to speed. As of now, Dirty Dom is still the Intercontinental Champion as per the report. WWE has not officially stripped him yet. No replacement champion has been named yet. But here is the key phrase that is circulating backstage according to those in the know. If he cannot compete, if he cannot wrestle, if he cannot defend the Intercontinental Championship. Because if Dom is medically cleared to wrestle even once, WWE can stall. But if he is unable to defend, then this is where protocol is going to kick in, ladies and gentlemen. And here is how the title protocol in the WWE works. Here is how it works, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, comment below. Become a channel member today. It's so crucial and so important to this channel's success. WWE doesn't like doing this, but they have done it before. If a champion cannot wrestle, cannot defend, and cannot appear, the title doesn't stay in limbo forever. At that point, the championship is returned to WWE higher-ups. Creative steps in, and a new champion must be named or crowned by way of a battle royal, a tournament, or some sort of multi-man contest. And based on internal scheduling, Royal Rumble 2026 is the logical deadline. This gives WWE a ticking clock right now, a ticking clock, viewers, fans, and subscribers. Why WWE actually hates this scenario. From WWE's perspective, This is a nightmare for 3 reasons. Dirty Dom's heat is at its peak. The crowd reacts. Social media reacts. That is currency. Here is a man that won back the IC title from John Cena, the legendary, the greatest of all time. He defeated John Cena to win back the Intercontinental Championship. Can you imagine what it would have to take to remove that title from Dominic Mysterio's waist? We're talking about also the Judgment Day momentum. The group revolves around control. Power in gold. That is substance. Losing the IC title unexpectedly under these circumstances weakens the entire presentation. Now we're talking also about Raw's closing image, viewers. Netflix's Raw wants statements, not uncertainty, not injury. Of course, this happens, though. Now, ending the year with championship title chaos isn't the goal, okay? This is not the goal, but a statement might have to be stated by World Wrestling Entertainment. If WWE determines that Dom cannot wrestle in time, there are only a few options at play. If WWE determines he cannot wrestle, option A, an interim Intercontinental Champion. It is rare, but it is absolutely possible. WWE could crown a temporary Intercontinental Champion until Dirty Dominic Mysterio returns from injury, especially if the injury appears not to be that bad. If Dominic Mysterio doesn't end up needing surgery, he could still end up as still the reigning Intercontinental Champion for another wrestler, another superstar, to hold it temporarily. Again, a champion that would carry the belt with prestige and respect. A fighting Intercontinental Champion, because as we all know, the IC title is the workhorse belt. It is the workhorse title. Again, should we crown an interim champion? Option B, which is going to be the toughest and the hardest for Dirty Dominic Mysterio. That would be the cleanest but the harshest solution. Dom loses the title without actually losing a match. That means he doesn't need to be submitted. He doesn't need to tap out. He doesn't need to say, I quit. But he has to hand over the title. He has to give it up. He has to quit as the Intercontinental Champion. Option C, ladies and gentlemen, because there's indeed always a backup plan in WWE. This could be the most likely of situations that the WWE is handling and the WWE is facing at this stage of the game. The WWE loves chaos when plans break down. A ladder match, a fatal four-way, a six-man scramble match. Big stakes, but a major reset for the Intercontinental Championship. The Roman Reigns comparison. Wait a minute, what does Roman Reigns got to do with this, right? Well, we're going to bring you up to speed. Fans always ask, why didn't WWE do this with Roman Reigns? Simple answer. Roman was a top-level franchise player. The Intercontinental title operates differently in 2025, going into 2026. It's defended more often. It's expected to move. That puts Dom in a very tough spot, a tougher spot. Fear or not? Who benefits if the title opens up? Well, let's be real, viewers. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, become a channel member today. Click the bell, turn on all notifications. If the IC title becomes available, half the Raw roster suddenly gets louder. There is opportunity. There is chance. There is choice. Names fans that are already speculating about breakout stars needing credibility, workhorses that are overdue for gold, Netflix-friendly performers that the WWE can spotlight. This could accidentally create a star-making moment, but it comes at the expense of Dominic Mysterio. Now we get into the real question, viewers. We delve into this, we dive into this head first. Here is the uncomfortable truth about Dirty Dom's future. The injury definitely changes perception, even if Dom can return. Can we rely on him physically? Do we need a backup plan? Does the Judgment Day need a pivot? Okay. None of this means punishment, but it does mean caution. And caution in WWE often leads to creative shifts. Why the WWE must decide sooner or later on a brand new Intercontinental Champion to be named. WWE cannot let this linger for a sustained amount of time. Speculation will fill gaps. Rumors will spiral out of control. But Royal Rumble season is coming, and by Royal Rumble season, the IC title must mean something. The IC title, the title must be defended. It must be visible. A champion on the shelf doesn't fit that picture, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this isn't panic yet, but it is pressure. Dirty Dom doesn't lose the title in the ring, but circumstances may force the hand of WWE Raw on Netflix on Monday nights. Raw and Netflix wanted a strong close. Instead, they're staring at a decision that could reshape the mid-card heading into 2026. So I will ask you, viewers, fans, and subscribers, I will throw it to you, because without you, there is no Sean. You guys are the heart, but you guys are the pulse. Should WWE wait for Dirty Dom, or should they move on and crown a new Intercontinental Champion before the Royal Rumble, or should there be an interim champion named in the IC title division on Netflix? Drop your take in the comment section below. Hit like, subscribe for nonstop WWE news, rumors, and breaking updates, because I can assure you of this, as always, the story is far from over, and quite frankly, there is going to be more to this than meets the eye. Now, as it concerns if the WWE has to name a new Intercontinental Champion, you're looking at Raw. You're looking, quite frankly, at NXT. You're looking at the up-and-comers. You're looking at the superstars that want to make a splash. You're looking at the future of the WWE. You're looking at the workhorses of World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, again, a name that we discussed and a name that we talked about during my live video this morning, because, yes, we do go live, guys. Believe me. I don't go live often, but we do multiple regular videos a day, every single day, because we never stop for you. The tone is set. And right now, the WWE has to be set, because this is going to be different, and this is going to be, this to me is intriguing. I said we're going to look at Raw or NXT for a brand new Intercontinental Champion, but what if I said to you that may not be the case? That may not be the case, because now, remember how a TNA star lost their title to a WWE star and a TNA championship was on WWE? Well, we are now receiving word that a TNA star, a top TNA star, a top TNA wrestler, could hold the Intercontinental Championship for the first time in history. A TNA star could be named or branded or could win the IC title, and then the IC title for the first time ever could be showcased on TNA Wrestling, and then it could be defended on TNA soil as well. Now, that brings a whole different dynamic to the Intercontinental Championship. If you would have said to somebody 5 or 10 years ago, oh, the IC title will be held by a TNA wrestler, or the Intercontinental title will be held in TNA Wrestling, they would have said, you are crazy. They would call you clickbait. They would have called you fake. That would have been the fate if you would have said something quite like that. But that is exactly the circumstances that we could be facing in 2026 as concerns the Intercontinental Championship. That, ladies and gentlemen, is major. That, ladies and gentlemen, is history. That, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely crucial to the development of the IC title in Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Now, all of a sudden, the options have expanded, because you're not just talking about Raw where the title is featured and defended. You're talking about NXT and you're talking about TNA. And ladies and gentlemen, how spectacular, how special would that be? You want to talk about influence. You want to talk about catastrophe. You want to talk about bedlam. You want to talk about unpredictability. That has all those intangibles. Now, if you're looking at TNA, there are actually several guys on that roster that are former IC champions and that could own the name and have legitimacy to becoming the Intercontinental Champion as a TNA wrestler. First person that comes to mind, Jeff Hardy of the Hardy Boys, the Hardy Brothers. Imagine Jeff Hardy becoming the Intercontinental Champion, but this time in TNA. Or maybe somebody that is in TNA that has never had the chance, never had the opportunity. Maybe a Mustafa Ali could become the Intercontinental Champion. Maybe a TNA Hall of Famer. Maybe a TNA legend could lay claim to the damn fame. As you can see, there is so many components. There's so many choices. There is so many options at play as it concerns the IC title. Also, ladies and gentlemen, according to the dirt sheets, the websites, and the newsletters, there is a strong reasoning. And again, we don't know this is going to happen. It may not happen. It may not come to realization. Jim Ross, JR, the man from Oklahoma himself, and Jerry the King Lawler, will they call one last time in WWE? Jerry the King Lawler and good old JR, Jim Ross, do they have it in them to call one more final match? Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions. Lately, they have come together. They have met. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, JR, and the King have been together lately, more so now than ever before. Does that open the door for them to commentate one last time? Could it happen at the Showcase of Immortals, the Super Bowl of Professional Wrestling, WrestleMania? Would you want to see JR and the King call the action one more time? Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions on all of that. Because as I always say, if it weren't for you, there would be no Sean's View. We always come through when the lights are absolutely on bright, when it's its most prominent, when it's its most dominant. Nobody puts as much time, effort, passion, and enthusiasm into this channel than Sean's View Entertainment. Also, Roxanne Perez addresses theories about her and Dominic Mysterio, as well as addressing relationship with AJ Lee and CM Punk backstage. What is that all meaning? Also, Roxanne Perez reveals what John Cena told Judgment Day backstage following the WWE's Survivor Series. And breaking news on one member of the Clique. Kevin Nash says that Christmas is one of the hardest days since losing his son, for obvious reasons. Tay Mello threatens Sammy Guevara with a divorce for not getting a dog. Former AEW star Saraya stuns in a bikini while vacationing in Mexico with friends. And Jeff Hardy says that he was bigger than Obama in 2008. And he's not joking, ladies and gentlemen. Trish Stratus lands FHM Australia magazine cover in an eye-catching swimsuit photo. Seth Rollins, the visionary, the revolutionary, appears at a Bears game with no cast and moves on freely after injury. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, most electrifying man in all of entertainment, The Rock, turns Walmart upside down with massive holiday giveaway for kids, for children. The Rock's WWE payday soars past $80 million, and that's before merchandise and WrestleMania bonuses. Also, absolutely breaking news on a match you never thought you was going to see, a match you never thought you were going to get, but it is actually going to happen this time. It has been teased. There has been some whispers about it, but they're both retired. But if it's the right money, if it's the right day, if it's the right event, The Undertaker and Sting, The Undertaker versus Sting, is being talked about once again. Ladies and gentlemen, that is historic. Huge, absolutely major. Would you want to see Sting and The Undertaker? Can they still get it on? Could they still put up a good fight? Hell, even if it's cinematic, even if it has to be cinematic, I think people would love to see it. But what is also being revealed online is a key reason, the vital reason why Sting versus The Undertaker never happened, and why it could happen, and why it could transpire at WrestleMania next year. Because the opportunity for that to happen, the door is closing more and more. The open window is slowly becoming more and more shut on The Undertaker versus Sting. Also, viewers, fans, and subscribers in bonus and exclusives. Donald Trump played a key role in a controversial WWE return. Yes, you heard that right. Bret Hart's 2010 return to WWE is still one of the company's most unexpected comebacks of all time. But we now know of a surprising name who helped out with that unexpectedly. President Donald Trump. Viewers, fans, and subscribers, there is also conflicting reports on Trick Williams' current status in WWE. Most expect him to come to the main roster of Raw or SmackDown sooner rather than later. Click the bell and subscribe, because if it weren't for you, there would be no show. We've got plenty more to come. Multiple videos a day, whether it be a regular video like this or a live stream. This is what it means to me. Subscribe.